A rag is not just a scale, it's how you move in and out of that scale. There's so much intricacy between two notes. There's almost infinite space. And the way you bend from one note to another takes years of mastering, years of work.
For me, when I'm practicing or playing on stage, I'm in complete ecstasy. With music, it helps you to lose yourself and find yourself at the same time in a way. It's like sitting in a dark room and all of a sudden someone switches on the light and all you see is beauty. Mental health, well-being, music, meditation, these are all linked subjects. So the real meditation is when your mind, body and soul is in sync, when it's all working together. When we start studying the science behind music, we study that each atom in your body, if it resonates at one frequency, you're at some kind of peace at that point. And that's what musicians aspire to, get to that kind of stage. So definitely with well-being, it helps.
Playing music for me makes me feel zoned out really from everyday life. As soon as I play, I try to get my mind in a neutral state. I try to remember the teachings of my gurus and almost forget myself. When I'm playing my instrument, I always try to get into a frame of mind where like I'm holding the steering wheel, but there's another force driving me. And when you're free from the mechanical process of driving almost, you can look up and enjoy the scenery, enjoy the view, enjoy the journey.
Most people talk about that sense of inner peace and calm and stillness, and that's a lot of the stuff that we do in yoga, is trying to cultivate that stillness. Hatha yoga in its traditional form means path of effort. So in yoga practice, we often start with more conspicuous effort. So that's the actual postures that we do, physical postures that we do. So we start off working on more conspicuous effort. So that's more physical postures or asana. Then we move on to more subtle practices of pranayama or breathing, and also bandhas or energetic locks, which sort of pull the energy through the body in different ways. And then we move to meditation. And the goal of meditation is obviously to try and find an inner awareness, an inner peace, if you like. Often it's not something that's like a flashbang, it's something that grows very gradually. And you find that as you practice more yoga, the sort of feelings that you get when you practice yoga, that sort of feeling of calm, that feeling of peace, that starts to transcend off the mat. Over time, you sort of lose attachment to stuff that bothers you, and then eventually that translates into all your work. So it starts just with yoga. You're less attached to the posture, you're less interested in what it looks like, more how it feels. And then over time, you realize that you're less attached to worldly things, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And you're able to draw on that inner reserve. You know, there's lots of research to show, for example, that it helps us physically and mentally. So from a physical perspective, it makes your body stronger, leaner, more flexible. It helps to reduce stress, reduce inflammation in the body, which is really good for heart health. It also really helps to give you a sense of well-being because you're able to access it quite regularly. So the more you practice, hopefully the more benefits you feel. But also it supports you to access a community around you who are supportive and help you with your own self-care practice, which has been obviously hugely important during lockdown when people have been quite isolated. So being able to take our classes online and reach out to people in that way has been really beneficial, I think, both for teachers and students alike.
So I'd say that the Indian classical art form is such a deep art form that connects on so many levels of human emotion, and in terms of its dexterity, talent, difficulty, etc. It's like a subject to explore. So in the process of experiencing and also learning Hindustani classical music, it's a very good tool to look inside, look inward, introspectively, and also to, in one way, escape the difficulties of real life. It's a discipline in itself, a discipline and an interest that can really deepen within you. It's very much a grounding force, I feel. I'd say that that's a very important thing in terms of self-perception, understanding, and also emotional well-being.
Indian classical music is one of the oldest and one of the greatest musical traditions in the world, and one of the key reasons is the fact that it has so many aspects of it which helps in the well-being of a person. For example, we have various different moods. We play ragas that are suited for particular times of the day and night and things like that. And also we have a particular time cycle that we call tal, which are set number of beats. The number of times the heart beats, that also have a particular pulse. And not only that, Indian classical music is so unique also because that's one aspect of the tal. The second aspect is the rag, where we also play music which is totally free of any time cycles. I use music as an outlet. I have seen that very often when I'm sad, or if I'm very happy or feeling, romantic or something, I often, even subconsciously, I feel gravitated towards my instrument.
Oh from a wellbeing perspective, I work with lots of groups of people making music, and a lot of it actually is singing. And those groups are specifically about bringing people together. They're specifically about creating connections and communities and having a sense of well-being. There's something so free about making sound with your own body, in whichever way you do that, whether it's through your instrument, whatever your instrument is, and doing that together with other people, I think gives people a real sense of emotional and physical connection to themselves and to the others around them.
Music is always a great starting point to go deeper into the healing process. The beauty of performing arts in India, dance, music, is they all have like yogic, scientific resonances and a structure like behind it that's really actually quite deeply and scientifically linked to the body and linked to healing. Through most of COVID, I lead meditation as well, and I feel like one of the special things that I bring to meditation is being able to sing and bring in Indian classical music or Indian classical music elements to that space. And these are for people of all different backgrounds, all different health statuses, all different ethnicities, but they can really, you can see the shift in their connection to the song in that moment. And I think it creates a sense of stillness, and it hits somewhere deep in the heart that can kind of help remove lots of thought and anxiety to some degree. That's why I personally gravitate to Indian music. There's something that for me, I just go straight inside of it, and I lose myself. I lose a sense of myself, and I think that's a beautiful thing when we aren't always so preoccupied by our own minds. As you open up the possibility to listen to music, you can actually start to explore other forms like meditation and chanting and other healing forms that are really related. Because I think one of the really great things about Indian music is, especially from its ancient roots, it's so integrated to forms of healing.